Rather than forming actual bonds between atoms, molecules can also interact with one another through intermolecular forces. So these just mean forces between molecules. Now, one main type of intermolecular force that's absolutely essential to life as we know it is hydrogen bonding. Now, this occurs when a hydrogen atom is involved in a covalent bond to a highly electronegative atom, typically fluorine, oxygen, or nitrogen, and even more especially these two when we're talking about biological systems. Now, because of the differences in electronegativity between hydrogen and any of these three atoms, one of them will become partially positively charged in the bond and the other one partially negatively charged. So let's take hydrogen bound to fluorine, for example. Now, because fluorine is very, very electronegative, much more so than hydrogen, in this covalent bond between the two of them, fluorine is going to pull the electrons that are being shared between the two of them a little more to itself. Now, electrons are negatively charged, and when fluorine pulls these electrons towards itself, it will become partially negatively charged. So this delta sign here and minus means partially negatively charged. Now, because of that, now the electrons are a little further away from hydrogen in this bond, and so hydrogen will become partially positively charged. This partial positive and partial negative charge distribution allows this molecule of hydrogen fluoride to interact with other molecules that are undergoing similar situations. Now, this could be, for example, if they interact with another hydrogen fluoride molecule, so in this case here, partial negative charge on this one and the partial positive charge on this one, these two will be able to interact with one another and form a hydrogen bond. Or they can even interact with other molecules. For example, say you have this hydrogen fluoride next to another, for example, a benzene ring that has oxygen double bond over here. Now, this oxygen bound to a carbon, it is also partially negatively charged because it is very electronegative on its own, and it also forms a polar covalent bond when it is bound to carbon in this ring. Now, the partial positive charge on hydrogen over here will also be able to interact with the partial negative charge on this oxygen that's involved in a completely different molecule. So these concepts are very important for understanding biological systems because hydrogen bonding is absolutely essential to the way our molecules in our body and in biology are held together. For example, hydrogen bonding is a type of bond that is responsible for zipping together the two strands of DNA that we have in every single one of our cells. So I have here essentially what I just talked about. It is a transient attractive interaction that forms between a partial positive hydrogen with another partially negative electronegative atom. And again, this can be two molecules of the same kind interacting with one another, or one molecule such as this, where hydrogen is bound to F, O, or N, or interacting with another atom that's very electronegative in a completely different molecule. And here another example that's classic and that is really important is the example of water. So water loves to interact with itself in hydrogen bonding. So you can see over here we have an oxygen that's very electronegative. Let me use a different color so that you can actually see it here. And then you have the two hydrogens here to form the molecule of water. Now the partial charges here will interact with other partial charges within other water molecules, and this is what makes water a molecule that has it's very difficult to boil because if you've ever boiled water in your life, you know, you're really hungry and you wanted to make some pasta, and it was taking forever for the water to boil. And that's because when you're heating the water, you're adding energy to the system. And what you're trying to do is actually to break apart the hydrogen bonds that are formed between the water molecules in the liquid state. And so when you break those hydrogen bonds between the water molecules, you're actually able to vaporize that water, which is essentially the process of boiling it. And like I just said, as a quick reminder, breaking bonds always requires energy, while forming bonds always creates energy, or these types of bonds at least creates energy.
Hey guys, my name is Jess, the head of education here at Wise. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. If you want to see the complete course, please check out the link in the description. You can also go to one of our playlists to keep learning for free. If you want us to cover a specific course or a specific topic, please leave us a comment below. We post new videos every week, so don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the new stuff.